So occasionally in life, there are things that when you see them, when you hold them, when you experience them, you know there is something unique or something special about that thing you are seeing or experiencing or holding or anything like that. And a lot of you guys know in the knife world, there are some knife designs that when you pick them up in the knife store or you get them in the mail from Amazon or Blade HQ or wherever, that you hold that knife and it just feels right, right? It just feels like you are holding something special. So today I'm going to review a knife that I had that experience with, and that is the Cold Steel Code 4. Now, I apologize for the glare. I'm filming this in front of a window. This blade is super shiny, so you're going to have a lot of that glare right there, but you should be able to see it well enough. So, how I'm going to do this review, it's going to go through the good, the bad, and something unique about a blade. And hopefully on this channel, that's what I'll be doing with all of the knife reviews I do. So, the Cold Steel Code 4, just to go over a few specs. It is a S35 VN steel. It is a 3.5-inch blade, and this is the spear point model. As you can see, they make a clip point and they make a tanto point as well. You can get it in serrated and all that stuff. I personally always prefer the plain edge because I cannot sharpen serrations to save my life. Anyway, this is the spear point, and of the designs of all the blades, I've owned the Tanto before. I really prefer the spear point. It has that strong piercing tip. And yeah, so out of all of them, the spear point is definitely my favorite. So let's get into the good first of all. The fit and finish of this knife is awesome. I mean, you're looking at a $70 to $75, sometimes $80, depending on where you get it. But, you know, let's just say an $80 knife with a fit and finish that is just, it's awesome. It's gorgeous. You know, you have an aluminum handle, simple aluminum handle. There are no liners. Still plenty torsional rigidity, you know. So the fit and finish on this knife is awesome. There are no sharp lines. There's nothing that you would feel, you know, that they kind of skimped on when it comes to machining. So the fit and finish on this knife is fantastic, especially for an $80 knife. The blade style, as I mentioned before, I love the spear point, not only because you have that more, let's see if you can kind of see that better, that stronger tip than on a clip point. I do love a clip point, and I'll have a model here to kind of show you guys as a comparative option. But I love the strength of that tip. But, you know, we also have a little bit of belly, and we don't have to deal with sharpening that second blade like you do on a Tanto. I do love a good Tanto. I'll show you one here in a second as well. But the blade style on this, it's frankly gorgeous. You have that swedge up top, and it comes down to that just gorgeous, gorgeous edge. So yeah, it has a really, really cool blade style. The steel on it is S35. A lot of you guys know S35. It's a great steel. A lot of people miss the XHP that Cold Steel was doing for a while, and I get it. Probably a little bit better edge retention on that XHP, but S35 VN is still a great, great steel. Those of you guys who've worked with it a lot, you know that it holds an edge, and it can still be pretty tough. Probably a little bit tougher than XHP. But what do I know? I don't really know that much about that kind of stuff. But anyway, it is a great, great steel. Another thing that I love about this is the handle ergonomics. You can see a lot of people don't like those handle, they're the finger indents. I love them, probably because they index my hand perfectly. So the handle ergos on this it's great. It's great. It feels amazing in the hand. I have extra large size hands. And it fits my hand beautifully. I got plenty of room, and when I close it too, you know, you can use that if you needed to as a, you know, a non-lethal impact or breaking anything, breaking some glass. You got to get someone out of a car or anything like that. So, you know, it still does have enough room on that bottom part. So yeah, the handle feels great. And there is one thing I don't love about the handle, and I'm sure you guys probably know it. If you know this model, you know what I'm not going to like about it. But we'll get back to that in the bad part of the knife review. So another thing that I do like about this that I have a complaint on a lot of Cold Steels about is the clip. The clip is great. Now the clip looks like a lot of Cold Steel clips, but the reason it's good is kind of what's below it. You guys know that on the G10 or on the Grivory, which I have a Voyager right here, Voyager clip. This is the older AUS-8 version. You can see this is very well worn. That Grivory is really rough on your pocket. You can sand it down a little bit, or you can there's a couple mods that make the material smoother. But it's tough. It wears out your pockets. You can see most of my jean pockets. They are worn down from carrying a knife like this, or the, Cold Steel Recon 1. A lot of other knives don't have that issue. So I do like the Code 4 clip because it's over aluminum, and that aluminum is slick. And so even though it's a super strong pocket clip, this is not going to come out of your pocket. It also is smooth to deploy. So I do like the clip on this Code 4. Another good thing, it is sharp out of the box. Cold Steel rarely gets that wrong. A lot of knife companies do that right. I am glad that they are one that does it right. Now, the last thing that I do really, really love about this, and it's something that I think has been better on a lot of the newer Cold Steels and the XHPs in the S35 with their newer coating, without, the painted coating they used to do on those Recons. It's a smooth lockback. You can see this, and I'll try to be careful with this not to cut my hands, and it just barely nicked me. No blood. That's good. First knife review. I'm still learning. But it is smooth. It is very smooth. You do not have to use wrist action with this at all. It comes right out. That is crazy smooth, not only for a lockback. I mean, you get a buck 110, which I should have brought with me. I don't have on the table here. But that thing is rough to get out. Some of the older ones, they don't flip out like that. But this thing is very smooth. And I'm not going to say it's as smooth as the pivoting systems that, CRKT or, a bunch of the other brands are putting out. But it's plenty smooth. It is very smooth, and the lockback falls free. Yeah, it's a little bit tough, but you're getting the triad lock. That is the strongest locking mechanism in the world, as far as I know. Again, I don't know that much, but it's one of the strongest, if not the strongest locking mechanisms in the world. So it's a smooth, elegant knife. And like I said up top, it just connected with me the moment I got it, especially the spear point version. There was something special about it where I'm like, this is a great knife. Okay, so let's move on to the bad, or let's just say the not so great parts about the knife. So a lot of these things I'm going to talk about, and it might be different for other knives, but there's nothing I absolutely hate about this knife. There are some things I would change personally about it, but overall, like I said, I love it. So the first thing I don't love about it, and I think that a lot of you guys would probably agree with me, is the width in pocket. So you can see how wide this knife is. It's almost strange because you see that blade, and then when you open it up, you can kind of see the width. So I'm going to try and do this without bumping my mic. So when I close this, there's only maybe 1/4 of an inch of the blade that's actually housed in the handle. I know there's mechanisms and there are things in there that there's a reason the handle doesn't house more of the blade, but this makes for a very, very wide in pocket knife. It's not the end of the world. It doesn't look bad. But if they were able to come out with a new model, which, Cold Steel does every once in a while, and maybe able to house that blade a tiny bit more, I think that would be awesome. And I think that'd make this knife even better. The other thing that I don't love about the Code 4, and again, I think it's a pretty common thing, is the lack of traction. So there's kind of a slight attempt at jimping up top here. You can see that. It doesn't provide hardly anything. There's no jimping right here. There's, no jimping in the back. There's no texturing pattern on the really, really slick aluminum handles. That being said, the way that your hand is housed in this handle, the way that it kind of encompasses your hand, and it feels really, really smooth and really, it feels very secure in your hand. It's not the end of the world, but I would prefer if personally there was maybe some jimping. I would prefer some jimping and some texturing patterns on that aluminum handle, just to give us a little bit more grip. If anyone's doing anything in any, slick environments, knives can fall out of your hand regardless of, what they are. So maybe some texturing, Cold Steel, if you're taking this back to see how you can improve the Code 4, that would be awesome. I would love to see some texturing. So those are really the things I don't love about the Code 4. Now, one thing that I think is unique, for the price, which again, let's just say around 80 bucks, for the materials, for the look of this knife, for the feel of this knife is a much more elegant knife than it has any business being. It really is. Regardless of how wide it is in pocket, it is a smooth, slick looking knife. It looks classy. It's well designed. You can, clearly see that Cold Steel and Company, they put a lot of thought into designing this blade, especially this spear point, which is a really sweet looking spear point with that swedge up top. So I love that at this price point of 80 bucks, you look like you're getting a knife that's double, if not more, that price point. A few different things a few different knives you might want to look at in kind of a similar size range. I have right here, this is the Kershaw Blur. And this is, again, about 3.5-inch blade. This is the Tanto with serrations. Don't prefer serrations, but Kershaw's aren't bad. I got the deep carry pocket clip on that. This is going to run you, I think, around 60, 70 bucks. 14C28N steel. This is assisted, and it's a liner lock. A lot more traction on that. Little bit, there's a little bit less reach. If that's something that's important to you, this is a smaller knife. Feels more like a knife you kind of do whatever with. You just don't care what happens to it. Even though the Code 4 is, I would say, couldn't really argue that it's a tougher knife with that triad lock and that increased strength on that tip. Let's see, a couple other options in this size range. So the Rat 1, a lot of you guys are familiar with the Rat 1. Sorry about that glare, that's rough. The Ontario Rat 1, again, 3.5-inch blade. This, has just, I don't know what those handle scales are. They're a type of plastic. They're pretty smooth, but the cool thing about the Rat 1 is there's that line of jimping right there, and that just really locks your hand in. Really, really cool blade design on this. Got some piercing power, some belly. This is an AUS 8, so the steel, it's not really going to compare to S35. It's not a bad steel. It's a good budget steel. But the Ontario Rat 1, about the same size, and it's also, you're looking at 30 bucks for the Rat 1. If you go the Rat 2, which is 3-inch model, it might be even less. You can get this in D2 to, double the price, and I think it's definitely worth it. I'm wanting to pick one of those up. So that's another option you might be interested in. And so we'll come back to this one too. This is the Voyager. The Voyager is a little bit larger, about 1/2 inch. So you're looking at a 4-inch blade. This is AUS 8, the older model. They make them in AUS 10 now. That's a great steel. I love AUS 10. It holds an edge a lot better than AUS 8. So, you can pick one up in AUS 10. But this same model, this ergonomics are awesome on this. There's plenty of traction in the handle. These will smooth up over time as well. So if you're wanting a little bit of a bigger blade, they make this in, the Tanto point as well. So that's another option you might want to look at. But anyway, the Code 4, guys, the Code 4, it's just one of those knife designs that I picked up, and the moment I held it, I was like, this is an awesome blade. This is a blade that I'm going to love using and I'm going to love carrying. I definitely recommend this knife. Pick one up if you have a chance. So yeah, the Cold Steel Code 4. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. It's been a lot of fun. Hopefully you guys keep watching. Thanks so much. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.